I don't have a fancy intro other than welcome to the CrossFit Canada podcast, place for Canadian affiliate owners and coaches to hear great stories. It changed because it used to be a place for Canadian affiliate owners and coaches, but in part of our effort to, marry U.S. and Canada relations, I have two non-Canadians, but still maybe Canadian. I mean, Andrea's in Idaho. That's basically like Canada.
It's close enough. Yeah.
So excited about my guests today. We have Nicole Aucoin from HSN CrossFit and HSN Nutrition. Is that right? And Andrea McDowell from CrossFit AMROCK. And we are going to talk about the business side of nutrition. And we'll lead into that a little bit more in a second here. But what I would, even though I just introduced you both, I'd like you both to introduce where you are, or excuse me, who you are, where your affiliates are. And question of the day was going to be, are you guys team pumpkin spice or not? As we're recording this, it is pumpkin spice season. So we'll go top left and around. Nicole, kick it off.
Sure. So I am Nicole Aucoin. I am based out of South Florida. So the opposite of where you are. Other questions. I am a dietitian. So, okay. Yeah. So pumpkin spice or not. I like pumpkin spice until you look at how much sugar is in those things. So I personally have creamer that is pumpkin spice, but I put a teaspoon in to get the little bit of flavor, and then just regular creamer in my coffee almost every morning in this season. But you will not find me getting a pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks. My stomach would be really torn up if I had that.
And if we couldn't have had a more unprompted, this is a nutrition discussion answer than that, then there we go. Awesome. Andrea, go ahead.
I'm Andrea McDowell. I am the co-owner of CrossFit AMROCK in Idaho Falls, Idaho, with my husband, Rocky. Pumpkin spice. I love pumpkin spice, but I'm like Nicole. I resist the temptation of going to Starbucks to get pumpkin spice. But I have found a coffee shop that does a pumpkin spice black sesame, and you do it half sweet, and it actually does very well on the sugar.
Very cool. What's a sesame? Like, I just think of the seeds.
Mm-hmm. They have put like black sesame seeds.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Well,
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, I do have my obligatory we're not sponsored by Tim Hortons, but how cliche is that? This is just a black coffee to tell you I am not team pumpkin spice from there. So, but what brings us here today is we're going to talk nutrition, and really what I wanted to talk about, especially having both of you on, is from an affiliate owner or a coach standpoint. Let's actually talk about the business of nutrition, because as of late, you can both agree, and kudos to Jocelyn Riley, our Canadian, leading the charge from HQ to help say, hey, nutrition should be more of a focus. It is the base of the pyramid. It's the starting point of fitness in 100 words. Anyway, so ironically enough, if you guys do or don't know Jocelyn, but she's out of Saskatchewan and works for CrossFit HQ and just has her master's in nutrition or something. I'm not trying to misrepresent her that way. Interestingly enough, she'll share that she doesn't do nutrition coaching in her gym as a formal program. But Nicole, you lead the way with HSN, and then we have Andrea on board because Andrea has successfully implemented almost to a T I don't want to misrepresent it or discredit in any way by calling it a bolt-on program, but you guys provide so much resources to affiliates that if you just use them the way they're provided, there's some success there, right? And so
100%.
Before we went to get started, I had to run out of the room because I had to go get this.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh, flashback. I think I published that in 2017.
That's how I found Nicole. Is because of Matt and that book.
Wow. That's pretty cool. What a full circle moment.
So why don't we why don't we give a little bit more of an introduction, Nicole, and what you and HSN is, based on me holding up your book here.
Oh my gosh, how funny. So I started my career in nutrition as a dietitian in the hospital and realized how broken the healthcare system was. And I think that's a core part of the story because I really got to understand working in the hospital and in doctors' offices how the healthcare system worked in Florida and how it was so reactive and people were not provided the support and accountability that they really needed to make meaningful change. It was like a revolving door, right? Like people would come in, they have uncontrolled diabetes. I would give them this little pep talk, a piece of paper. I would see 30 people in one day. Like nothing meaningful is happening there. They would have no support after. And honestly, I was like questioning my life decisions. Like, what was I doing as a dietitian? I'm making no effort to really help people. And it was the constraints of the system I was in. So I started this side hustle called Healthy Steps Nutrition, where I was like, I'm going to take knowledge that I have about nutrition and not the requirements I was supposed to say in the hospital, which I didn't agree with a lot of them, and kind of build this program. And so I started, and doctors found out what I was doing. And there was a pediatrician in particular that was like, hey, Nicole, my kids have fatty livers and high triglycerides. I would like you to see my patients in my office. I'm like, cool. Like, first of all, it is absolutely ridiculous that a kid would have a fatty liver. That directly comes from overconsumption of processed carbohydrates, sugar, and activity and too much time on screens. Andrea actually got to meet him. We did a panel. So we still have that partnership today. They refer a ton of patients to us, and it's been since 2012. So that started. And then I had already been in the CrossFit space, like as an athlete, and decided to take my level 1 and started coaching. And what I realized going to all these different CrossFit gyms was everyone says nutrition's the foundation, but no CrossFit gym actually did anything with nutrition. I'm like, you've got this pyramid on the wall. You said nutrition's the foundation. You gave me a journal article, and like, that was it. That's kind of like what I was doing in the hospital, like giving people a piece of paper, and it clearly wasn't working. So the gym owner that I was at had said at one point, like, hey, Nicole, do you want to just see people? Sure. So I started like seeing people, and it was a completely separate thing than what her business was. And the program has obviously evolved and changed, but the core principles of Healthy Steps Nutrition is a habit-based approach, focusing on whole foods, limiting the amount of ultra-processed food, added sugar, and alcohol, and then also taking into other pillars of the framework: nutrition, sleep, mindset, movement, healthy recipes too, and just giving people information, but most importantly, a plan and a coach to keep them accountable. And that's really the business of nutrition coaching. We're in this world where there's so much information. ChatGPT can come up with a meal plan and macros. Like, that's not your value as a coach. Your value is the personal connection you have, the ability to meet a client where they're at, the ability to keep them accountable and have those tough conversations sometimes. Like, Andrea, you said this was really important to you. I noticed that you're not doing the things. Like, what are the barriers that have come up? Let's address them so another week doesn't go by, and let's get you back on track. And I think that's where I struggled starting with Healthy Steps Nutrition. Like, I think sometimes us as coaches, we live in this bubble of like everything in health is really easy for us because we set up ourselves with an environment and a support system that makes it easy. And for most of our clients, that's not the same case. And they really need something that's simple and a coach to keep them accountable. So what I realized, over the course of years is you got to build in the accountability framework. And ultimately, that's what allows a nutrition program to be scalable and to have the most amount of impact.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, and even as you said, and we'll get into this more later on as the discussion unfolds, but like for anyone even just hearing this and interested, it's like, oh, it could seem overwhelming, but like as you said it's like, let's not forget CrossFit programming is free. You can go to CrossFit.com and do the workout of the day and do it in your garage, your basement, at a Globo gym. That's how the whole thing started. But yet we went from 0 to thousands of affiliates by providing guidance, accountability, and coaching through that program. And nutrition is really no different from there. Andrea, why don't you now share sorry to cut you off. Go ahead, Nicole.
It's interesting to me where like I love the messaging around CrossFit, and Andrea, I know you can agree too, like the CrossFit is the cure, but we're not the cure if we don't address nutrition too. Like it is not possible for people to see the results and reach their potential and prevent and reverse chronic disease by out exercising a bad diet and not providing support on sleep and stress management and addressing the other 23 hours of the day. We're doing a disservice to our clients if we're not addressing those other 23 hours of the day.
I wish I had it like on hand more, but there's an old Nicole Carroll nutrition lecture. And her words, guys, if you don't fuck around with your nutrition, you are leaving performance on the table.
Yeah.
Like even just a standpoint, it's like you could train however many days, you could do whatever program you want, but it's like if you have not addressed and at least played with weighing and measuring, with zone, with all these different aspects, you're missing a huge part of the methodology.
Mm-hmm.
So Andrea, give a little backstory for you, and then how does this all how do we all dovetail together here?
Yeah. So my husband and I opened up our affiliate in 2016. And I mean, as far as our background, like our background was running, we didn't really have much of we did CrossFit for about a year and a half. Loved it, fell in love with it, fell in love with the philosophy and the methodology behind it. So we opened up our own affiliate. And a few years later, we realized like there was a gap, right? So we're doing the thing, we're doing the fitness, but there's this nutrition component missing. I actually started doing some online nutrition training. I think that's when we met you and we started some coaching with you. And that's where we kind of had some conversations of, okay, how could we integrate nutrition? And heard about Nicole's book, Nourish. Was actually traveling for work, read the entire book on a plane. And I was resolved. When I got off the plane, I called Rocky. I'm like, we're doing this. I set up a call with Nicole to talk about the program and what it was about, because I think that's where I was getting stuck as an affiliate owner. Is I was going through some other nutrition coaching services and I was like, I don't know how to put this together. Like, I don't have the time to put together, how am I going to track? How am I going to do all the things to help people stay accountable? And I think that's what I loved about Healthy Steps Nutrition is that there's a platform and you don't have to figure that part out because you are supported as an affiliate owner or as a nutrition coach through Healthy Steps Nutrition. And everything that they provide just sets you up for success. And it really has transformed our business by making nutrition a core principle and the foundation of what we do. And, over the time that we've been with Healthy Steps Nutrition, like we've seen great growth with our own clients, but just in our business as well.
And, it's like, this isn't in any way a paid advertisement for HSN here, but, and I don't want it to come off that way either, but at the same time, I think one of the biggest, kind of viruses in a way in the affiliate world is feeling like we have to create everything from scratch.
Right.
Right. Both two very profound reactions there, right? It's like we have to create everything from scratch. We have to do it all ourselves. And really now, and maybe with more and more and more resources, and hopefully AI changes this as well, is like you can fast track everything by taking a program that's already done and making it work for you. So kind of, Nicole, back to you, is how did the early stages of HSN and then, offering it as a program to affiliates, how has it evolved? How did it start and how has it evolved?
Oh my gosh. One thing I absolutely love is feedback and to be able to get feedback and make things better. And ultimately, when we started helping other gym owners, we were not a gym owner. I did not own an affiliate. And we launched the program, the mentoring program, to help other gym owners in 2015. We had like 50 gyms sign up really fast. And at one point I looked at my husband in 2016. I was like, we need to own a gym. If I'm really going to help these people, like I need to own a gym. So found a lease and like full send for, the next 9 years of, all right, let's figure this out. And I'm so thankful for all of the learnings that we had during, that time and the reason for opening the gym was truly like, I want to have a testing ground. I know these principles work as a nutrition only service, but we need to figure out exactly how to speak the same language. And there's a reason why we say regularly, like, don't reinvent the wheel, because that's literally what I hear every single time from gym owners. Like, I don't have time to reinvent the wheel. And honestly, from day one of opening up our affiliate, we've never done programming. I've always paid for programming until we switched to CAP, where I guess we're paying for it indirectly now. But like, that is something that I don't want to reinvent the wheel. There are people that are way better at that than us, me and my husband. And I'd rather use something that I know works and that can provide real value to my clients. So when we first started, we always have to start somewhere. So I would say the program is very different today than it was 10 years ago. The training originally was 3 hours. I don't even know how people implemented the program with the 3 hour like live training. It boggles my mind that it was successful. Yeah. And then it slowly started evolving to like this core principle of how do we set businesses up for success and how do we help coaches feel really confident. There's many different nutrition coaching certifications out there. And what we found to help coaches set them up for success is making it more of an interactive experience. Mm-hmm. So yes, there's online modules, but if Andrea was going through the training or you were going through the training, Matt, you would actually get coached by us, experience the program from a client's perspective, then role play and practice with us, screw up with us. The last step of the training is a coach evaluation where you're the coach and we're the client. You're walking through what happens before, during, and after an initial consultation. So it is impossible for you to start working with paid people without knowing what you need to do. Kind of think of it, I guess now it's the level 4. But back in the day when it was like this interactive level 2, like that's what I went through, where you're teaching movements, let's get some feedback. And I think the level 2 was the best coaching course I've ever done because of all of that interactive feedback. And we took a lot of those principles and made it, how do we do this in a virtual environment? So that's kind of the coaching certification. And the other side is the business side. And I think one of the things I love connecting with Andrea every single time, like her and Rocky are doing such amazing things. When you reached out about this, I was like, anytime we can give Andrea a platform to talk about the impact that they're having, like I'm all about it. Yeah. They took that model and they helped their people. But then I started talking about healthcare partnerships and going back, like that was my roots. That's how we started, is healthcare partnerships. I'm like, I think we could help other gyms do this. And she's like, I want to do this. I've got cardiologists. I've got this and that. And she like, it was like a rocket ship. She just ran with it all and was like, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel, but I'm also going to test out some different things and see what works and see if we can figure out how to work with different types of doctors. And I actually got some really great tips and advice from her. And I think the program is where it is today because we have trailblazers like Andrea that are taking it and doing new things and then coming back to be like, hey, Nicole, this actually worked really well. And then how do we systemize that to make it replicatable for every other gym owner that wants to do those types of things?
Because I mean,
Andrea, what would you say?
I think
go ahead, Matt.
No, you go first.
No, I was just going to say, I think one thing that's done really well with Healthy Steps Nutrition is there's lots of different platforms of how you want to build your business and where your passion goes, right? So not only is, yes, you've got the client and how do you help someone with their basics of nutrition and on a holistic approach, but then there's this part of healthcare partnerships. There's a part of, hey, how do we help hormone health? Hey, let's help families. Let's work on mental health. Like there's so many different ways that you can build your nutrition business. But then as you build your team and your team of coaches, they can also find something that they're passionate about. And I think that's what I really love about what Nicole and her team have done is they've built something that you can get behind and what you're passionate about as a human, you can project forward and try to build something from that. But then you have a team, as you build your team, you can each kind of take your own path.
Well, and that's what actually I was going to ask, and it ties into this nicely, is because, so then we look at, okay, we want to start implementing nutrition. I think potentially, you can have blinders on to just say, well, I only have the people in front of me, which is being your members, which is true. You do have the people in front of you, which is a perfect launch pad.
Yep.
But what's nutrition is a gateway to open up new conversations and partnerships that are completely separate from the exercise thing. So I'd love to, Andrea, get into the story about the first Mountain View trial program. We can kind of detail what that was like, and then I know there's a story that I want to get to with that as well. So let's just kind of broad strokes. What was the idea with Mountain View? Who was Mountain View, and what was the help there?
Yeah, so great question. So within our membership, we kind of, it's identifying like where you might have connections that you're not aware of. And that's kind of what happened. We had a member in the gym who worked at a local hospital. And I will say, Nicole and I've talked about this of like, this is something like having a local regionalized hospital is not in every city, but we became something that we kind of latched onto and had some conversation, went to coffee, had a conversation with Courtney of like, hey, she works within the hospital. She loves CrossFit, loves like.
Now, sorry, let me cut you off real quick. It is worth noting that in every Canadian city, it is, because we are a socialized system, we do have hospitals in each city. I have one 5 minutes up the road, right? But carry on. Like, so for us, it is actually pretty common. That's true.
Yeah. So like just having that conversation of, okay, how could we start integrating what we do with Mountain View Hospital? And this was probably a good 2-year journey. It wasn't something that happened overnight, but it was just kind of, you would with a lead, you just nurture that relationship. And Courtney was kind of our way to start some conversations. And one thing that we ended up doing was kind of a trial and with some patients. So she had reached out to some local physicians, said, hey, we want to do a trial where we're going to do, and I would do some things different, kind of going through this, but it was a 12-week trial where we would do a nutrition coaching as well as fitness. So they came in and we would do some onboarding, and then they were open to essentially 3 days a week to come in for fitness. And then we did kind of a group nutrition group within the Healthy Steps Nutrition app. So wasn't as personalized as what you would do with individualized coaching, but more of in a group setting. The cool thing is then we also got blood metrics. So Mountain View Hospital essentially sponsored doing all the blood metrics and blood pressure. And so we kind of had like a baseline. Then at the end of the 12 weeks, we redid that baseline and we saw significant improvement. We saw, I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the amount of total pounds lost, body fat, but also improvement in triglycerides, LDL, HDL, A1C was another big one that we saw a huge improvement. And then from there, like we actually got in front of a couple of physicians and were able to talk about what we do. And just starting to kind of spread that word, which has led to some other partnerships and connections just by doing something very simple. Yes, it was an investment on our side it didn't cost the patient anything. And we capped it at 6 patients. So we could keep it very personalized. And we did things where we went out and did like, hey, let's meet on Friday night and go for a walk with the patients. So
I want to stay there for a second, is like, because as you mentioned, like this was pro bono, but it was a learning atmosphere. Describe what those 6 patients were like. And I don't mean like physically, but I mean, it's because I think what was me knowing how the story goes, it was probably a big learning experience to be open to an entirely new population.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that was the thing. Most of them, we had pre-qualifications of patients that we were looking for. And that's where Courtney helped us with the physicians of, hey, we're looking for, hey, do you have someone that's struggling with high blood sugar, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, someone that's trying to lose weight, like where like they have some pre-existing health conditions. And the great thing was kind of bringing that community together. They created some friendships. We actually, in doing that, some of them came to the same classes together. There was engagement in the app together, sharing of recipes, but just creating some of them didn't know each other at all. But they kind of created a really good, healthy relationship with one another. And then we kind of designed it in a way of, okay, yes, there's this template that HSN has. And then, yes, there's the template for CrossFit. But what could we do to maybe make it our own AMROCK feel, right? And so I think that's where we just added our little twist to it of doing some different things to kind of enhance the program.
And did the 6 folks, were they not willing, but they weren't the type that were really too excited to join the CrossFit class, were they? If we're being honest.
No. I mean,
that's,
CrossFit is like, oh no, that's heavy stuff and flipping tires. And, they have they're already their judgment of what CrossFit is already there. So how do you change that? And I think that's where we did 3 onboarding classes as a group. So we either had Mari or Rocky that led those onboarding sessions so they could see how functional CrossFit, and it really can be scalable to them. So we had some that might have been better movers than others. Hey, that's okay. And I think even at the same time, Nicole, you had Athena Perez and something. We actually took some content that I learned from her workshop and we applied it into that as well of, hey, you can make this and meet you where you're at. And I think them seeing that, they could come to a class. And then I actually brought in one of our other members who's had an amazing transformation that we did through an employee wellness program. And brought her in to talk to the group. She was oversized athlete, but it was helpful for them to see someone that they could look up to and talk about her journey and how she went through a journey of nutrition and fitness.
And what was that person's original goal?
Her original goal was to ride a roller coaster. And she was too large to ride a roller coaster. So she had a little sister and she could never fit in a roller coaster. And she is now 3 years later, she still does CrossFit. She looks amazing. I think she's down almost 100 pounds. And just seeing that transformation, she's just a gem. But this last summer, she got on a roller coaster. And that. I got a video from her friend when she rode the roller coaster. And I just started crying. I was like, just seeing something like that happen for someone. So I actually recorded a video and sent it to her. I'm bawling on this video that I sent to her because I was just so happy to just see that she reached a huge goal, a huge milestone for her.
And that's the power of changing the conversation away from fitness. We can always backdoor into fitness, but something like riding a roller coaster. I know, just from what I've seen, using or not using a seatbelt extender can be a huge win for people. So, Nicole, I'm curious, in your experience with the gyms you're working with, how many have you seen use nutrition but don't have to go right into CrossFit? Meaning you can set up walking clubs. You can just have group meetings in the gym so they see it, but they don't have to, because I think it's we have to give them CrossFit right away. It's we can, So maybe share what do you see there?
My lens, I started as a nutrition company. So I know you can do nutrition and the other 23 hours of the day without having someone go to the gym and do it successfully and make a meaningful impact in someone's life. So when we actually work with gyms, the first thing we do is set up the business systems. And the first package that we help create is a nutrition only offer. So what is it going to look like if I'm a member that was a member of your gym and I moved to the other side of town and your gym isn't convenient for me and I want to get back on board with nutrition? Or what if I'm the spouse of a guy in your gym and I don't want to do CrossFit? I like my whatever fitness program I'm doing, but I want to do nutrition. Okay, great. What does that look like? And then we build the transformation offer that encompasses nutrition, fitness, accountability, which honestly should be the first offer. Like what I struggle with gyms, and when someone comes in, they say they want to lose weight, and we say, okay, sign up for CrossFit. Like this is going to be the best thing. Like we're doing them a disservice if we're not saying, actually, the best option to help you is when we dial in your nutrition, your fitness, and we provide you accountability. And if you have a program that you feel really confident that I'm going to get you signed up for, and we're going to be able to deliver results, then that should be the front end offer that we give people. And if they sign up, if you've done the marketing leading up to it, you will have good sign up rate for that. But if you don't, and they don't sign up, okay, at least we've presented them the option so that when they come back in 3 months and say, Nicole, your program didn't work, I'm going to be like, well, remember when we talked about nutrition? Are you ready to dial in the other 23 hours of the day? And if you are, like, let's go, so that we can do the thing. So, there's a big opportunity when you think of who you target as a gym owner. You target people that work or live within a couple miles of your gym. But if people are going to do your nutrition program, you could do it 100% virtually, or people are only coming in realistically once a month. So you can expand your radius. Like we have people drive an hour to come to and do nutrition. And then we have people that don't ever come to our gym. We've run employee wellness programs in different states and they've never come into our gym. And I've helped someone lose 100 pounds too. And I was crying. I was crying just like Andrea's, like the best experience. Cause it's not about the weight loss. It's about how you show up for your family and how you show up for your kids. And we did an interview with a guy that lost 100 pounds. And he's like, I don't know if I would have been able to walk my daughter down the aisle. And now I feel like I have the tools and the resources to take control of my health. And like, as someone that started in healthcare, like on sick care, like that is the transformation that I think we all want to be able to help people make in the course of our careers.
Yeah. And really like and Andrea, you mentioned like Nicole working with Athena Perez, like she's done such a good job at like understanding larger bodied athletes and with Scaled Nation, like potential, we can say it's almost like having someone's goal be to ride a roller coaster, to not use a seatbelt extender. We can stay too much in our own vacuum of CrossFit and not understand either how scary, and we sit and we're like, oh, we can scale it. Don't worry. We'll scale it. But there's still a nuanced layer that lives before that, we could be doing someone a disservice by just trying to feed them the fitness pill there.
One thing I'll say too, if like your goal is to create healthcare partnerships, which we created a whole free initiative, the Global Health Project, to help gym owners create healthcare partnerships, because the average doctor has 2,000 to 3,000 patients that they're seeing every single year. 93 to 97% of those people are metabolically unhealthy. It's an unlimited referral source for you, more people than you could ever handle. But the truth is, many of those people will not be convenient for your gym to go to your gym 3 times a week. So you need to be able to offer a service that can serve them in the capacity of them coming just once a month or virtually, and then guide them to a place that you feel confident that they can do some exercise, or even just having them walk. Like from personal experience, most of our doctors' referrals are nutrition only clients, or they do our family nutrition program. And for the pediatricians and pediatric GIs that refer us, we don't offer a kids just program. It's a family nutrition coaching program. I live in South Florida. Parents want their kids everyone wants to look a certain way. And if the parents aren't on board to change habits, like they're the ones that are doing the grocery shopping, like it is a non-negotiable for us. We won't work with a kid unless the parents are on board, because it's just going to cause too much friction in the household. And it's doing the kid a disservice.
Mm-hmm. And actually that's a good point to bring into. So Andrea, you've actually, of course, have ventured into corporate wellness as well, and with nutrition being a big piece of that. So what was that? And that's what led to the individual we were talking about. What was helpful with that? Actually, how did it start? Because I think that part's key as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's looking inside your gym walls, honestly, and who like your circle, like not just your gym, but even people like you might have a connection, somehow a friend But that's kind of where the employee wellness program for us started. Is I knew of a few individuals within our AMROCK community that owned a business. And I essentially took a business packet and said, "Can I take you to coffee?" And we sat over coffee. I pitched it, and we've done three different employee wellness programs with that same company. It's been great and the transformation, but that's kind of where that started. And we've actually pitched 2 more in the last couple weeks. And also becoming a part of the chamber has been a really good success for us as well. And actually spent some time talking with our chamber CEO about some potential opportunities. So it's just like looking inside your actual community and then just having conversations of like, hey, here's what we do. And they don't know because they don't see that side of things. They don't see that side of the business. So just going up, and even if they're a small business of 8 or 9, you can still do an employee wellness program and give that offer to that person or to that company. And I think that has been something that's been really beneficial for us to kind of get some connection outside of the gym. And when we did our employee wellness program, we kind of took what Healthy Steps Nutrition had as a framework. And then we said, well, we're going to coordinate Saturday workouts 2 times during the 6 weeks, because they all knew like their boss did CrossFit, but Linda,
Too hard for me.
It's not too hard for me, but Linda, she's tough. And I'm like, well, we should at least give it a try. just try. So we actually did a revision of Fight Gone Bad, but we did it with kettlebells and box step ups. Like we kind of took the concept of Fight Gone Bad, but simplified it. And they loved it. They're like, that was the hardest 17 minutes of my life in a good way. And so then we did a second one and they all came back. And with that, we actually gained 4 new members. We had one, Denise. I love Denise, but she brought her husband. She's like, "Can I bring my husband?" And I said, "Sure, that's fine. Bring him to the class." And they both became members. They're still with us. They're in their 60s. Their whole why was, I want to be able to run around with my grandkids and be able to keep up with my grandkids. And they are just so badass. Like they do everything at our gym, and such good examples of longevity and the transformation they've had. But we just kind of took some things and made it our own. And so I think that's the biggest thing. Is I think what Nicole does is so fantastic. It just gives you a good platform, but doesn't mean you have to follow it, but you can also think outside the box and make some things and get creative with it too. And I think that's been something that we've leveraged and try to take advantage of.
Andrea, you like mentioned this a couple of times, but I think an important thing, like if you're wanting to create healthcare partnerships or you're wanting to go into employee wellness as a gym owner, is start within your community. Like you don't need to go knock on the door of the biggest company in town. Like start with the people that know, love, and trust you, gain some success stories, get some Google reviews, and use those as momentum and highlight the people that are doing awesome. And I think as a gym owner, if we take a full step back of like, what is the first thing that we need to do? You need to get a solid nutrition program up and running and success stories and gain confidence within your membership. And then you can take those success stories, start broadcasting them to your community. Like Andrea, when you approached the Mountain View person or the employee wellness person, it wasn't a surprise that you started talking about nutrition, because you have already, like, it's been a pillar of your business. You have success stories. Yep. So I think sometimes we like wave this carrot of employee wellness, and I don't want gym owners to be like, okay, yeah, there's this company and that's how I'm going to start. I actually believe it would be better to start with success stories first and let those people be fired up and want to introduce you. Having an introduction to someone is so much easier to get the door in than knocking on a random door.
Yeah. And I think that's like for us, we were, I think, almost 2 years with just doing individualized coaching before we even started doing some of these other programs, just so we had a solid foundation. And it started only with 2 of us, and now we've got 4 coaches. We just had someone that went through the training program, and she just graduated. So yeah, so there's just there's a way to start, and that's, I think you're exactly right, Nicole, of start with the foundation first, get comfortable, but then there's ways to continue to grow your nutrition business. So, and we kind of have in our mind, like, we have a target that we want to achieve as far as monthly revenue, and that's what we're working towards. So start small, but then you can start layering on some of these other things.
But if you have a small gym, like there are many CrossFit gyms that are small, you can also think about who's on your email list that is not currently paying you, or a past member that already loves and trusts you, have that nutrition only offer. There's been some gyms that have been really successful going into running clubs or mom groups and doing like nutrition seminars at these mom groups. And if you're in a mom group and people are starting to talk, like every mom is like, I want this thing too. So you can gain access to, and you've done it through the chamber, right? Like gain access to people who wouldn't know you, that aren't within your ecosystem. But I do think getting some, which I think when you're launching a program, I think it's important to get test clients, have your coaches be test clients so they can talk confidently about the program. You know, going back, Matt, like we were talking about business, what are the things that make gyms fail with nutrition? I think that's an important thing to bring up. The reason why most gyms fail with nutrition is an owner will want a coach to run the program and expect the coach to do everything. And the only person to talk about nutrition is the one nutrition coach. And if you don't create it in your culture and only one person's talking about it, or if I'm in your class, Matt, and I say, hey, what's the deal with this nutrition program or this challenge that you're running? And you say, I don't know, like, go talk to Andrea. Like, that's the worst way to have confidence as a member, to be like, oh man, this is going to work, versus you were a test client and I say, hey, Matt, what's the deal with this nutrition program Andrea's running? And you're like, oh, Nicole, this is awesome. This is exactly what it looks like. And you have to do it. Here's the reasons why you got to do it. And all you need to do is click this QR code and book a call, like make it easy. But I think as an owner, like that's your responsibility. And it's one of the reasons why we require owners to go through the training. Like, you're the leader of your tribe. You need to know what's going on. And if you want your membership to be on board, your staff needs to be on board first.
Yeah. And I mean, it's worth noting, like, there are many different ways to get into this. And, like one of which is like through nutrition challenges. And And so I'm not sure if you guys have one in the platform. I would imagine you would, but I do know, just from an aside, that, EC Sinkowski has her 800-gram challenge and the lazy macro challenge. And you can purchase that, and it integrates directly into SugarWOD if you're a gym that uses SugarWOD. We use Push Press, and we run our own inside challenges right through Push Press. It's not robust, it's not perfect, but it's something. And what it does is it becomes a platform for the first people. If you are going to say run a nutrition challenge, the first people that should say I'm in need to be coaches. Because even back to the beginning of, like, if you as a coach are not at least experimenting with your nutrition or trying something new, because really it's CrossFit is always about like managing change in individuals. And you don't have to want to become a nutrition coach, but you have to understand how hard change is so that you can coach better on the floor.
Yeah. And not all coaches make great nutrition coaches. It's not about nutrition. It's about the other things going on that are influencing nutrition. But everyone needs to know, what does a program include? What's the value that's being provided? And what is the next step for someone to get started? So if I'm in class and I say, that workout was harder than it should have been, or I'm not hitting a PR, I'm not losing weight, I'm not seeing the results, I need a coach to confidently say, like, hey, how's your nutrition? How's the other 23 hours of the day? You're busting your butt in here. You should be seeing results. So something is missing. Have you considered working with Andrea, our nutrition coach, that would really help you dial in the other 23 hours of the day? And if that conversation is consistent, your momentum and engagement with your members will start picking up. And you brought up nutrition challenges. I've made every mistake under the sun running nutrition challenges. And you experiment, right? You learn what works, double down on that, and what didn't work, I'm going to cut that next time. I think when you run a nutrition challenge is really important, so that you have a good conversion rate. The way I see a challenge is a kickstart, but you want to have an individualized program after a challenge is over. And if you set it up properly, you should have at least 50% of people continue with ongoing coaching after the challenge is over. We also have a standalone nutrition challenge, and I wrote about nutrition challenges in the CrossFit Journal back in the day when they had that thing, like 2016 or 17, whatever it was. And we called it the challenge trap, and there was like a mouse cheese.
Also
could have been in there too.
Available on Amazon potentially.
I need to update that thing because there's some way outdated practices in there. I don't know that I would go to our blog and listen to our podcast if you want to get some free help or cheap help. But I think a challenge is a really good way. And if you're a gym owner that's like, all right, practical thing, like, what do? I want to launch something in the new year. Most gyms will plan to launch challenges at the end of January. 28 days is a good base of time. Don't go longer than that. Individualized coaching is really where the magic happens. If you go longer, it's going to be, people won't be engaged at the end, and they're not going to convert to individual coaching at the end. We're recommending that gyms start nutrition challenges January 26th. That's going to lead you right up to the open. You'll end, open begins, life is good. But you got to really think about how you structure a challenge so that you give a tiny taste of what individual coaching looks like, and not have this like conveyor belt of come in between this time and do biometrics. And it's just chaos, and people, you don't have time to really sit down and find out, why did you sign up for this thing? What's your goal? What's the long-term goal? Let's help you set a realistic first milestone together during the challenge and map out a plan of what continued support looks like after the challenge is over.
Well, and
Andrew,
that's how
you guys have run challenges.
Yeah. I was going to say, once we went through the program, that was the very first thing we did, is ran a nutrition challenge to help us, one, kick things off, but then allow us to get some longer term clients. And I actually, I think both Mari and I I at least have 5 of my clients. I have 13 clients that I currently work with. Wow. And 5 of them are from the very first nutrition challenge.
So how long ago? You guys have been with HSN for a while.
Over 3 years.
So 3 years length of engagement for nutrition, like that's not heard of in the space, like, which is amazing. Like, yes, our clients, absolutely. But if you take outside of what does the average person do working with a nutrition coach, 12 weeks, 6 weeks, 1 month is like completely industry average normal, not 3 years.
Yeah.
Which
they just want the accountability. Like they would be fine to be on their own. And we've talked about it, and they're like, no, I just need you in my corner. I'm like, okay, I'll be in your corner. Like we still like, cause they'll do well on a habit, and then they just have a rough month. Like life happens. We get roadblocks.
Right.
And people just want that accountability. Like they want someone there that's there to lift them up, or there to listen, or to navigate, or, and I think one thing, that's been pretty cool to just see the longevity of, I think I have 5 clients that have been with me since the beginning. And one that's remote. He ended up moving, and we still talk once a month. And still help them. But it's the same thing. This happens in life. And so sometimes you just need that person that can be in your corner.
I have a client that I've had for 7 years. Nothing magical happens in that session, but there's always something that he wants to work on, and always something that I can keep him accountable to and have a tough conversation when he's like, like, you said this was important. Let's figure out a plan so that we can gain consistency, so that we can get you where you want to go. And as adults, we're so busy, and sometimes as like moms, we put our health on the back burner, but this is like the accountability that you need to make sure that you're still prioritizing your health to set a good example as a parent for your kids.
Well, and I think the challenges, and then going into the individualized coaching, that's how we established credibility within our membership. Because people could see, they saw, oh, look at Lisa. Lisa looks amazing. Lisa, what are you doing? And it just stirred conversation, and then it creates that, well, what they do works. Is it hard work? Absolutely. But I look at some of our clients and they're just succeeding. And we just shared a story this last week of a guy, Jonathan, who came in, started CrossFit first. He was 232 pounds. In the first month, lost 15 pounds just by changing and having exercise, just coming in, doing exercise. I think it was January. So about 9 months later, he's like, I think I need to add nutrition because I've kind of hit this point where I need some help. So we did nutrition coaching. He's lost over 55 pounds, 11% body fat improvement, lost over 30 pounds in body fat. And like, that's the cool transformation, but like just being there, and he saw someone else at the gym that went through our nutrition coaching program and was like, I want to give this a shot, and asked some questions. And he just graduated and starting on his own. So he was with us for a little over a year with nutrition coaching, but now feels comfortable and confident. Sorry, have a friend. That it's just cool. And now he actually wants to become a coach himself. So
those are the best. I love that.
Yeah. It's like, it's worth highlighting how simple and like human needs this stuff is.
Yeah.
And like, I always think if you are a gym listening and you have locker room style change rooms and you're not doing nutrition coaching, you are missing out on, like, that is, I did nutrition coaching myself personally before I became an affiliate owner for a short period of time. But the gym I was at the time had a locker room style change room, and all the referrals I got came from the ladies' change room. Not in the way it sounds, but just, I guess, whoa.
Oh, that's great.
but it's the people will notice, like, especially, like, it doesn't matter, guys, gals, if you're changing, people will know you are looking so good. What are you doing? And it's like, I'm doing nutrition coaching. And like, those are the conversations that are going to sell the program, but you have to get the program at least going first to make that happen. But if you deliver the value based on the stuff we already know, it'll happen.
Well, and I think just to add on to that too, Matt, is like, and to what Nicole was saying earlier, having your team involved as well. Like, if I look at our coaching team, I've got 4 of our coaches that are nutrition coaches as well. They didn't have to be, but they wanted to be. We've had 2 others that have gone through the program personally. But we actually just did last month in our coach development an informal conversation. And kind of paired people up and said, okay, what are some things? And we kind of role played with the coaches, and it was awkward, of course, because it's just awkward to role play sometimes. But it was super helpful because we hear those things of like, man, I didn't feel great during a workout, or man, I'm really tired, or, and it's just a simple question. It's not that it takes a ton of time, but the more your team's involved in being a part of that, the more you get known as, this is the place you come for nutrition, fitness, and accountability. And I'm starting to see that even within this last 6 weeks. So we have 2 more physical therapists that we're working on healthcare partnerships. We've got another physician that we're in conversation with. We've got, I've actually been in contact with Shveta.
Oh, yay.
About maybe making a trip out here and doing something with her. So like, I think it's just, you've got to talk about it. And the more you talk about it, the more you get known that, hey, this is the place.
We did, since all 3 of us follow CAP, one of the best things that CAP did, I think, is they released the benchmark schedule at the beginning of the year. And so I was like, I released it to the group again, like, talking about what you're doing. We do what we do so much, but I don't think we really all do a great job of talking about what we're doing. So I sent out an email to all the members. I said, hey, we do these benchmarks called girls. Well, guess what? It's hot girl summer. We called it Hot Girl Summer, and I announced the list at the end of April or early May and was like, here's the list of benchmarks that we have tested. Here are the days, so you can go back and check. And we are going to be retesting these in the fall.
That's awesome.
Right? And so what we did, so that was from like April to, we just finished yesterday with Kelly. I'm sure it's still coming, but I put it in anyway. Well, then what we did, secondary layer, was we layered in a summer nutrition challenge to keep people accountable between July and August. So we tied the two things in together. We say, hey, like, we're not doing any extra homework, any extra sessions, but what you're going to do between May and September is just commit to yourself. I'm going to get better at this workout that I've already done. Well, we did the nutrition challenge to help give the tools to do that. And the person that won the nutrition challenge, her benchmark, it wasn't a formal benchmark. It was the 5 by 400 meter run that we did earlier in the spring. And I was just like, someone had requested it. I was like, I'm going to tie that in. So that was one of the choices. She scaled to 200 meter runs the first time. Well, this second time, she did 400 meter runs and did the 400 meter runs faster than she did the 200s.
That's amazing.
Wow.
That's really impressive.
So, but it was like, but then what becomes the next part is like, we have these stories. It's like, you got to start talking about them at the whiteboard.
Yep.
That's it.
6 a.m. I'm like, and our nutrition challenge winner, Nancy, crushed her benchmarks. And like, it's like, hey, real quick, like, how did it go? Like, oh, it felt so good. And this was helpful. And blah, blah, blah. Like it wasn't something magical that she did other than figured what she was eating. So we have the things already, like, but just talking about it more is what's going to be maybe potentially the first starting point or the missing link right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like you did a good job with like highlighting the person that did awesome. And Andrea, you guys do a really good job intentionally capturing success stories of your clients that are doing nutrition and fitness. And I think that's a piece that does take a little bit of extra work, but it is so powerful. Like when we look at the research, the number one thing that will get someone making a buying decision with your business and spend more money, which ultimately that's what we need them to do if they're doing nutrition and fitness, is reviews and success stories. So as a gym owner, a quick audit you could do, like, go to your Google My Business account. Does it look like you offer nutrition and fitness when you look at your Google reviews, when you look at your photos? And if not, go talk to your people and ask them to update a Google review and leave one that actually talks about nutrition and fitness and how you've helped transform their health and their life. And then people will start expecting nutrition to be a part of the conversation, because most people, before they talk to you in regards to signing up with your program, have looked at your Google My Business. Most.
Yeah. And I mean, even on that, one thing that we do with, let's say, leads that are coming in, after we have a conversation, we usually send like a follow-up email. I just did this the other day. I had a couple that came in and they just stopped by and we had a good conversation, and they kind of looked like Dale and Denise, like they fit in that generation. And I have a video about Dale and Denise and their journey. And I sent that to him. I said, hey, I think it'd be worth watching this video, because I think you could connect with Dale and Denise's story. And so if you have some of those video testimonials, there's other ways besides just social that you could use them for lead gen and lead capture stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like having testimonials of your avatar, so that when someone comes in and they share in a similar experience, or they would fit in that realm of that person, they can see themselves in that story. They're going to be more likely to sign up with your program.
And we even, with some of our healthcare partnerships that we've created, like trifolds that we've given to some of the physicians and healthcare providers, we have a QR code that has a couple videos of, again, some of the avatar individuals that have different journeys, but if they can find someone that they can relate to, so it's not like, hey, here's this really buff person. It's just an average person that wanted to make a lifestyle change. Like, that's what we're after. We're after trying to help those people get up the stairs, get in and out of car, or get off the ground, or play with their grandkids, play with their kids, whatever that is. Like, that's the whole mission. So if we can have stories that kind of relate and people can, I think that's where they get the buy-in.
I think one of the things that can happen in CrossFit that can do us as coaches and owners a disservice is people getting profound results really fast right away. Mm-hmm. When actually, like, healthy weight loss over the long term is just a pound a week over the long term, right? Mm-hmm. And really, like, trying to set someone up, because as great as nutrition challenges are, remember, I mean, I'm not sure if Andrea, you were around at this time in CrossFit, but like the whole 30 challenges, the paleo challenges that would exist, everyone would just white knuckle it for however long. And that's like, that's not what, and maybe some folks who have been around for a long time, that's what they think of. Like, no, this is like, how can I set people up for long-term success, and know that even having a conversation with them, just being real to say, I believe you can lose 50 pounds, but it's going to take a year to get there. And that's 1 pound a week. So I want to think about that as like someone listening to this and wanting to start a nutrition business. Like, we're talking about these resounding success stories and all this stuff, but you have to start at the beginning.
Yeah.
And almost like, as overwhelming as it might be to start a nutrition business within your affiliate, well, guess what? It's going to be just as overwhelming for the future clients you're going to serve to start something as well. So it's about being patient and whatnot. So in kind of wrapping up, I want to hear what either of you would say, well, both of you would say to an affiliate owner or coach who are, really getting on board or have left nutrition out and know that, there's some potential there. So Andrea, why don't you start? Like, what's some kind of closing messaging you would give to someone?
Yeah. I think if you're on the fence, it's just taking that leap of faith and knowing that you can do it. I've been in those shoes. I did not believe in myself at first. And I think just taking action and believing that you're going to make mistakes along the way. And like Nicole said earlier, like, you make mistakes, you learn from it, you grow from it. But nutrition is that foundation. And I think as we've been doing now nutrition coaching for over 3 years, it's really elevated our business. And I think it's just looking at the resources that are available and really taking that leap of faith that you can do it and you have time to do it. Yes, there's an investment, but sometimes you've got to take that investment to help you get to that next level within your business. And it does seem scary as hell, but I will say it is worth it.
Yeah. What about Nicole? What are your thoughts?
Gosh, I can say with 100% conviction, when you help someone with their nutrition, you're going to make a greater impact. And we're not in this business to make millions of dollars as CrossFit affiliate owners, but we are in this business to make a really meaningful impact. And there's so many people that have changed careers to do this. And if you can deliver a professional nutrition coaching program, you're going to help your clients see really good results. The truth is, your clients are going to spend money somewhere else getting nutrition help, or they're going to leave your gym because they didn't see results. So you're leaving something on the table, going back to what Nicole Carroll said, if you don't address it, kind of bringing it full circle. I think the other realization you need to have as a gym owner is looking at, what does your schedule entail? Like, Andrea is passionate about nutrition. That's why she has nutrition clients, not because she needs to. If you understand nutrition is important, great, set the standards, get the framework in place, but find someone that will be good to support the program. Our recommendation with the systems we have in place, find a coach that has 6 to 8 hours a week to dedicate to do nutrition. You don't need to hire someone full-time. You might have a coach, or you might have a nurse or a teacher or a social worker that's passionate about health and nutrition and is aligned with your vision. So, like, get the people, get the framework, and just start small. Like, we all have big goals, but it's not a light switch. Like, it's small, consistent steps, just like your clients seeing good results, that will lead you a year from now to say, like, man, look at the accelerated impact that we've been able to have because we've addressed the other 23 hours of the day outside of the gym.
As the CrossFit coach space is everyone likes to show how much they know about CrossFit or how passionate they are and all this stuff. But, as Greg once said, when you feel like you've mastered the basics, go back and study it with more detail and truly take an honest reflection of if you are actually giving nutrition the the base of the pyramid. You can put it on your wall, but if it's not an everyday thing in your gym, then go back and study it with more detail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And on that note, 3, 2, 1, time.